Welcome to Local Business Spotlight, where we highlight local businesses that are making an impact on our community.
My guest is Tim Spurlock, president and co-founder of American Diesel Training Centers, one of our Salem Columbus advertisers. And Tim, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Well, Tim, tell me about American Diesel Training Centers.
Yeah, it's a great story. It starts several years ago where I ran sales for a company who sold curriculum to schools who taught automotive and diesel students. Mm-hmm. So I got to see a ton of schools out there, and I got to see their programs and their curriculum. And then on the other side, we were working with lots of companies. And it became very obvious that the product that schools were producing wasn't really lining up with the type of new employee that companies wanted, specifically truck companies such as dealerships, fleet companies, and leasing companies. So that's kind of where the whole thing started. So we did some research. Obviously, it's not new news that there's a huge shortage in skilled labor, trade and skilled labor, and the numbers in terms of diesel technicians that are needed in the industry over the next 20 years are pretty staggering. The United States needs 200,000 new diesel technicians to enter the business within the next 10 years just to keep pace with where they are now. And the industry is growing at about 12% a year.
So you started an American Diesel Training Center here in Columbus.
Correct.
And you've got several in the works.
Correct. Yes. So we started a center here in Columbus, and we are currently planning to launch a Cincinnati center in early 2018, and then Cleveland in probably Q2 2018. We kind of look at it like Ohio State football. We want to own Ohio and then expand nationally where the market demographics are good.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Well, now I've got a bunch of questions,
Sure.
But I guess I'll go with the next one, which is, all right, there are obviously, just as you mentioned, other companies that train diesel technicians. Is that the right word, technicians?
That is correct. Yeah, schools, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
there are
yes.
schools out there that
yes.
do that. Why should somebody come to the American Diesel Training Center?
The biggest difference is that we've uncovered, I want to say, I don't want to say stumbled on, I would say we've uncovered this pipeline of people who they are in what we call high effort, low skill, low pay jobs. And they desperately want to move to the same high effort. These people work very hard, but high skill, high pay jobs. Here's the problem, and this is where the challenge with kind of the current education system. They don't have 2 years to spend in school, and they don't have, in most cases, $40,000 to $50,000 to pay tuition. And the real key is that's really not what companies want. Companies want a basically trained entry-level diesel technician, meaning they'll show up for work, they have a good attitude, they want a career with a company, they're willing to learn, but they need to do just basic tasks like what we call preventative maintenance, keeping trucks on the road, electrical troubleshooting, stuff like changing tires, basic stuff. The real intricate repair jobs, typically a master tech, and there may be one per shop will work on that, or they will just take that engine out of the truck and send it back to the manufacturer like Cummins or PACCAR or whatever. So that's the real difference is time and money.
Well, let's talk about your website for a moment. What will people find on your website?
Lots of good stuff. So our website, which is americandieselcbus.com, they'll kind of a history description of where we came from, where the idea came from. Lots of information about our programs, lots of information and videos about our current group of students, what you're going to see on a daily basis, and really the kind of student that we're looking for. We're a selective program, so we don't take everyone. And because we're so focused on producing the kind of completer that industry wants, we consistently are talking with our students, making sure that it's the right decision for them and the right decision for us. So if someone isn't fit for our program, we're going to know it pretty quickly, and we're probably going to do some serious coaching with that student, because our goal is to mentor these folks. But it may work out to where we just come to a situation where they got into it, they realized it was the right decision for them, and that's fine.
Okay. Now you're listening to Local Business Spotlight. I'm Ann Ray. My guest is Tim Spurlock, president and co-founder of American Diesel Training Centers. You can reach them at 614-410-6868, 614-410-6868, and that website we were just talking about is AmericanDieselCbus.com, AmericanDieselCbus.com. Well, Tim, we're hitting a part of the program where we ask for a story or two of people you've been able to help, or clients you've been able to help, or just to give us an idea of what it's like to work with you. Yeah. Do you have a couple of stories you can share with us?
Sure. I think one of the great things about working with us is that we are completely transparent in our students. So the first thing that our company partners can do is we actually have a student portal that our companies can get access to. And on that student portal, they'll see a student picture, they'll see their resume, they'll even see their attendance. So we track very closely everything that our students do because, again, if a student has a pattern with us, it's not that's not desirable, they're probably going to carry that pattern over to work in the employer. So that's the first thing that we do is we're extremely transparent with our employer partners in terms of the kind of students. The best way that we partner with employers, and this is a great story, is that again there's a huge shortage of diesel technicians in the United States, but also Columbus, Ohio. And we were working with a partner maybe 6 weeks ago. They brought the president of the company into the meeting room, and the president said, okay, heard our pitch and said, what would you guys like to do? And the service manager who we're working with said, we've exhausted all other options. One ads, Indeed.com, Facebook, whatever. And we cannot find the type of technician that we're looking for. So that's the great thing. They can just, I always like to use the example of when you take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese's and they have that little thing where you reach in and grab the stuffed animal. Well, let's just assume the arms on that or the hook on that thing actually works, and you pick up the little stuffed animal and you plop them down. And that's really the way that we work. That's a great example of how we work with partners is instead of spending time, money, really valuable resources and opportunity cost, we're a vetted pipeline of techs that you can just reach into with your little crane arm and plop right down into your organization, and you know what you're going to get when you get someone from us.
What you see is what you get.
Yes. And you can really see kind of deep into our students and get a really good feel there.
For all that brings me to my next question then. What can people expect when they do business with you at American Diesel Training Centers that's different than elsewhere?
The biggest difference is there's really no place in this country where, at least in our industry, where a potential employer can look at a candidate and get a 12-week living resume of that person. We know our students extremely well. We know their families. Obviously, we see them every day. We have a personal relationship with them. And we do an excellent job of really aligning our students with the right companies for them. So, that's one of the best, I think, benefits of working with us is that, which differentiates us because let's say, you're a company and you go to maybe a school, you go to a job fair, or maybe you get a resume in the mail or on email and you interview that person. You're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, they sound into it and they look really good. And I've checked a couple references, but they really don't know a lot about that student, right? With us, they know everything about that student as much as humanly possible. Our goal is to provide our employer partners as close to as humanly possible information about that student as to why they're the right fit for their company, and they'll grow with that company and be a solid employee for the long run, which is what companies want.
Well, let's talk about now. So you have classes. You offer classes.
The funny thing is, when my business partner Chris Ellis and I, shameless plug for Chris, he's the best truck engineer in the state of Ohio. He's going to laugh when he hears that, but it's true. When Chris and I started the business, we thought we're going to do a school, and it's going to be 8 to 5, and it's going to be just like a job. You're going to show up for work every day. Guess what? Every one of our students has a job. So our students are working third shift in many cases, coming to us, or they're coming to us, and then they're going to work second or third shift. So we have 2 class periods. We have an 8 to 1, and we have a 4 to 9 p.m. So students can choose either one of those courses. The nice thing, or periods. Nice thing is that we're flexible. So if maybe something happens, there's a work conflict. If you're going to, our courses stay the same. So if you're going to an evening and need to spend a couple days in the morning class, that's fine. We have some students, we have kind of a downtime between 1 and 4 in the afternoon. We have some students that show up 2 hours early just to put in extra work.
Excellent.
And it's a 12-week program.
What are some misconceptions that are out there, Tim, about what you do? I'm sure there are some.
Yeah, I think so. Our model differs dramatically from a typical school model. A typical school model is the student pays a school, and then it's up to the student to go get his or her own job. Our model's different. Our students pay virtually nothing for us. Our stated tuition is $500. We give many scholarships. Every veteran comes to us for no charge. We give a full scholarship to every veteran. So the differences, though, is, like I said, our employers are our customers. So we charge our employer partners in the neighborhood of $7,500 for a placement, right? So probably the biggest misconception is, well, I don't want to plunk down $7,500 for an employee. But we've done the research and we've talked to local companies. I mean, the cost of recruiting, training, and onboarding a new employee is between $10,000 and $40,000. In fact, we just talked to a very reputable Columbus company on last Friday who said that they just know that it's going to cost them a third of that employee's first year salary to recruit, train, and onboard them. So our goal is to provide a great, and we're hands-on. Very little classroom time, hands-on education, but at the same time, lower employees' costs in terms of new employee acquisition.
If you'd like more information on American Diesel Training Centers, call 614-410-6868, 614-410-6868, or visit AmericanDieselCBus.com. AmericanDieselCBus.com. And my guest today has been Tim Spurlock, President and co-founder of American Diesel Training Centers. Tim, thanks for being with us on Local Business Spotlight.
Thanks for joining us for Local Business Spotlight. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and may not reflect the views of the staff, advertisers, or owners of this station, Salem Media of Ohio, or Salem Media Group. Please join us again for Local Business Spotlight.